We start this episode of Overreaction Monday with words we sure would have liked to have known perhaps throughout the season. The Seattle Seahawks are champions of the National Football League in the 2025 season, taking down Super Bowl 60 in the home of the San Francisco 49ers, celebrating in the locker room of the San Francisco 49ers. Welcome to this post-season edition of Overreaction Monday with Chris Brockman.
Hey,
I'm Rich Eisen. What's up,
What's
sir?
up, man? Excited to watch the game tonight.
Which game?
Super Bowl's tonight, right?
No. Good one. It's a good bit.
Oh.
That's a good bit. Were you workshopping that bit?
Well, I literally thought of it just
since
now.
right around like the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter. When did it dawn? When did it dawn?
I think 9-0. I was like, we may not score any points.
And 12-0.
12-0. I thought it's close to over.
Just maybe. All right. All right. The beer bottles that Matt Collins was using are a lot of fresh empties.
That guy does die in the movie, right? Everyone pointed out.
A lot of fresh empties for Patriots fans trying to drink away their troubles. Overreaction Monday. Hit it, please. Hit it.
That was terrible. That was crap. That was garbage. This place sucks.
Overreaction Monday.
All right, Christopher, what do you have for me post-Super Bowl 60?
Kudos to the Seahawks. That was an awesome, dominating performance. They were a wagon all season long.
Yes,
Sam
sir.
Darnold, that defense, JSN, Ken Walker, we saw it, MVP performance. So congratulations, and my hat is taken off to those guys.
Very high-class
That
material
was very
right there.
awesome. All right, let's get right to it, Rich. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
A lot have been made about the comparisons between their previous Super Bowl championship, the Legion of Boom, and what are they calling these guys? The Dark Side?
Yes, sir.
I like that. That's cool. This Seahawks defense, the Dark Side, better than the Legion of Boom.
We're not there yet. We need to see some longevity out of them. But first season as the Dark Side or Legion of Boom 2.0 or
Pretty good.
however you wish to do it, you gotta check some boxes. And Super Bowl 60 was a virtuoso performance. 6 sacks, 11 quarterback hits, 3 takeaways with a score as well. And then the Seahawks became the second team to record more than 10 quarterback hits and more than 2 takeaways in a Super Bowl since quarterback hits were first tracked in 2006. You want to guess who the other team was? It was
Probably.
Think about the stadium. Think about the situation. Think about the
Denver Broncos.
The situation was Super Bowl 50.
Yeah.
The Denver Broncos, who also, as we know, played in Levi Stadium and hoisted the trophy.
With a dominating defense.
They were unreal. 28 quarterback pressures in Super Bowl 60.
That's it.
And that was most by Seattle in the next-gen stat era. Second most by any team in a playoff game since 2018. The only team that had more quarterback hits was the Patriots 2018 wild card team, beating the crap out of the Chargers at 36 quarterback hits back in the old 2018 machine.
Wow.
So they were superb. Number one scoring defense coming in, number one scoring defense going out. They became the 4th team in the last 20 seasons to be the top scoring defense and then win the Super Bowl. 2016 Patriots were the last one. And before that, the aforementioned Legion of Boom, 2013 Seattle Seahawks, and the 2008 Steelers being the other. So they're in the echelon. They are in the top tier of history, not just this season. But I got to see it again, right? For you to sit here and go, oh, yeah, that's the second coming of Earl Thomas.
Yeah, the original Legion of Boom, they made it to a second one, and we're a yard away from winning the Super Bowl. So let's see. But it certainly seems like, man, this team is set up to go back next year here in L.A.
Well, I mean, they are going to be a favorite for sure, and they are going to get stronger, one would think, because now Darnold has that ring and that trophy, and now they all do. And they also have a guy in John Schneider. I don't know if you have anything to do with their roster build on your list here.
I don't.
So
well, I mean, I do have one about the running back later.
Well, John Schneider became the first general manager in the history of this amazing league to win a Super Bowl twice with the same franchise, but with a different head coach and starting quarterback, and have no players from Super Bowl victory 1 be on the roster for Super Bowl victory 2. Completely different roster. Obviously, different quarterback would come with that, but different head coach. The only other GMs who have won it with the same franchise with a different head coach and different starting quarterback, Howie Roseman of Philadelphia and Ozzie Newsome with Baltimore.
Pretty good company.
But those guys still had some players on Super Bowl 2 from Super Bowl 1. John Schneider's totally different. So you got to give it up and think that, yes, they're going to get better in the draft because he knows how to shop for these groceries for this coach. You know, I don't want to get too deep into it. They're going to have a different offensive coordinator. We've seen what's happened in those regards. We'll see who replaces Clint Kubiak and how it all works. But for the moment, I've got to call this an overreaction because of the fact that they haven't done it again yet.
Where are you putting this defense in comparison to the Ravens, Broncos?
I mean, I just gave you all these all-time stats.
You want to go back to the Bears, but where do they rank for you?
Again, I need to see more of it, but
all those other teams only won the one Super
I understand
Bowl.
that, but they also did have some longevity too.
Okay.
Because they culminated or they resonated. Either way, this was just something that was beginning to build last year, obviously with Mike McDonald, but they're one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
I just gave you the metrics.
Every year at the end of the year, we kind of think about, what are you going to remember about this season? Last year it was Saquon Barkley's dominance. The year before, the Chiefs going back-to-back. This year, we are going to remember the 2025 season for Sam Darnold, his redemption story, going to a new spot, capped off by the Super Bowl. This is the beginning of the Seahawks dynasty, Rich. They're going to win multiple titles in the next 5 years.
I got to call this an overreaction as well. Just in the fact that looked at both teams here in the Super Bowl, one that went back-to-back 4 wins to 14 wins, right?
Yep.
And then the Seattle Seahawks, where a 10-win season wasn't enough for them to make the playoffs one year. You add in Sam Darnold, you swap out DK Metcalf and throw JSN in there and hire Cooper Kupp from the Rams, make some other changes here, draft well, and you win a Super Bowl. Why didn't I just describe in either of these two ascensions of New England's and Seattle's? Why can't we somehow ascribe that to half of the other 30 teams in the NFL? At least with confidence that there's half of the other teams in the NFL that could make some moves, and all of a sudden, because you couldn't sit here and say that we're doing this show last year after the Eagles boat race the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And whatever we were saying that this is a juggernaut, this is a dynasty, this could be this could be that. And then the whole next season, a lot of Philadelphia things happen potentially. You can just say it's just Philadelphia. But all I'm saying is things change from one season to the next so often.
That's true.
And for the positive, why can't one new hire or one new free agent acquisition with one smart trade at the deadline? I mean, I'm giving you some touch points for both teams in Super Bowl 60 as to how they turned things around and made it to the final game. And in Seattle's case, put a trophy in Sam Darnold's hand. I mean, look at that picture for those who are listening to this podcast.
That's really cool.
Sam Darnold
really cool.
smiling and holding the Lombardi trophy in his hand. And yes, I would agree with the point where this is the season we will remember for Sam Darnold's ascension. I hope for his sake, this isn't, say, believe it or not, I will make this analogy, his Aaron Rodgers moment. Rodgers not made it back. And when he went to Dallas and beat the Steelers in the Jones Mahal that year, and then the next year, if I'm not mistaken, they followed it up with 14 or 15 wins, which I think is still a record that the Chiefs tied last year in being a team, or the year before, where they were going for back-to-back and had the most regular season wins of a defending Super Bowl champ. He's never made it back. So I do hope for Sam Darnold's sake and for Seattle's fans' sake, that this is a dynastic run that we're watching. But I'll have to call this an overreaction because, honestly, their ascension, it's a copycat league. It's very difficult to do so. You got to have the right general manager, right ownership. You got to have the right situation.
Have all those things.
They do. So, yes, I can see
minus the Philadelphia dysfunction.
But to sit here and say 100% this is the way it's going to be, I'll just got to call that an overreaction for the moment.
We're going to bounce around here, but let's talk about the Patriots here, Rich. You talked about it all year long. The schedule. The Patriots' easy path narrative was spot on, and they're going to miss the playoffs next year with a first-place schedule.
I don't know about that.
First-place schedule.
I thought you were just going to say the Pats' easy path narrative was spot on because I got to be honest with you, it's tough to argue with that point. But then for you to even come up and say that the first-place schedule is going to knock them.
This isn't medium point reaction.
I got you.
Monday,
I understand. Yeah. I understand. I'm not going to. You can't miss the playoffs for the first
Super Bowl loser hangover is real. Rich Eisen.
I got it. Let me ask you this question.
First place schedule.
No, let me ask you this question because you are more expert at this than I am, and you are right there with my son Cooper, which, as you know, is a very.
How did he handle being at the game?
It was tough at times. Yeah. But the number of young players who balled out this year for the Patriots. They had a remarkable number of rookies.
Well, the only reason that game was as close as it was right. I mean, Christian Gonzalez was
Woodson
stopping
was all
everything.
Over the place too.
Woodson is a player.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. There's some youngins who just got Super Bowl experience.
Can any of them block?
Elliott Wolf will figure it out, man. That's the point, is that you got the right coach and the GM who are going to self-scout and not tiptoe around what needs to be done here, man. No. They get it. They understand what it is. Vrabel had to have watched some of that game film over the last week and a half and go, oh,
we're in trouble.
Our left side of our line is going to have their it could be their birthday, and it was their birthday on top
10
of
times over.
with a cake and candles and everything.
Yeah, I brought funfetti cake if you want some.
Brother, it was not pretty.
It was rough.
But to sit here and say they're not going to be better. They had one of the best drafts last year. So I can't sit here and say they're going to miss the playoffs. I think they will be a vogue preseason choice of being out of the playoffs.
I think you're right.
As one of those teams, and in all of our preseason shows where we
new
pick
commanders
who's coming in, and every year there's a change of the guard, and there's 6 new playoff teams or whatever the hell it is.
Super Bowl hangover.
Right, and so you got to take one out to put a new one in.
Correct.
I think the Patriots being one out
for sure
will be a hot choice because at that point in time, Joe Brady will be talked about in Western New York like, he's the modern day Curly Lambeau.
Sure.
So, or at least in the mind's eye of Josh Allen's finally got this, he's finally got that. Maybe they make a nice splash here and get him a big old toy like A.J. Brown or something like that. I don't know. All I'm saying is but the easy path narrative, I was sitting there a couple times saying, do we miss the Kansas City Chiefs in this Super Bowl?
No, stop it. No, you
baby.
weren't. No,
I was.
Stop it.
Dude, that first half was a brutal.
Was there a bet on you saying Mahomes during the? I thought it was just Collinsworth.
No, I didn't see that.
Would it have been a better Super Bowl with the Texans?
I would have been a better Super Bowl with the Broncos.
Well, not with Stidham.
That's correct.
With Bo Nix.
That's correct.
Yeah.
What else you got over there?
We should have known, Rich Eisen, that it was going to be a bad day and that the Patriots were doomed. When Belichick and Kraft got snubbed for the Hall of Fame, and then Brady doesn't even say he's rooting for it. What are we doing? That was the sign that it was going to be rough.
You're really going
That
here?
was going to be rough for the Pats. Not even mentioning the Drake curse, not May. Drake betting $1 million on us? Come on, man.
Well, didn't Drake also have a bad Super Bowl last year because Kendrick Lamar was performing?
Yeah.
That's 2 Super Bowls in a row where it was bad for Drake.
And everyone he bets on is...
Dude, what are you just passing over Adam Vinatieri getting in this class? Oh,
he played more seasons with the Colts.
I get it. But still, it all started with his kick. Again, for Kurt Warner to be given the Adam Vinatieri introduction was pretty cold. I almost offered to him while we were reading through the prompter in the back, hey, you want to switch? I'll take Vinatieri if you don't want to take him. Since his Hall of Fame career started, 2 weeks before in the snow game. Did I use that proper?
Yes, you did.
We all call it the Tuck Rule game, but he would call him the snow game.
Snow game. Right.
All right, and then his kick was against Kirk, but that doesn't matter, huh? Really? Is this where you're going? Do you want me to? Since this is for you,
this one is for me.
This one's for me. This highly important real estate. Okay,
I had Jack in the middle of the program.
Bro, we talk about all season long who's making the Super Bowl, what's going to happen in the Super Bowl. We talk all season long about this stuff, and we're finally here. We're finally in this show. We're finally needing some sort of a topic that is a culminating topic that puts an exclamation point on the season, on all the storylines that we've been talking about week after week after week. And you go here. So since you've made it about you, let me ask you, because I'm a giver. Because I'm a giver. Because I'm a giver. I'm a giver. Okay, I'm a giver.
Yeah, thanks.
How do you want me to answer this? What would make it happier for you for me to answer this? As a reaction? This is proper. You nailed it, man. Or overreaction. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's okay. But Brady, as you pointed out, he's got other business decisions. What is he going to say? Go ahead and beat the crap out of the new head coach that I've hired from the Seattle
after everyone
staff?
shamed him, he had to put out a story being like, go get him, Mr. Kraft.
Or
like, you know what I mean?
He's got to prove to you that he's not dead inside, that he's not some sort of just only
everyone
about
thinks he's
TB12.
a robot.
Okay. So honestly, like, you even said that yourself, right?
I want you to tell me I nailed it.
Do you really want me to tell you that?
Kind of.
You nailed it, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay.
I feel better.
Can we move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
Jeez.
When did I know this game was over?
It's about you again.
It's not. First play of the game, I knew it was over. You want to know why?
Just like Cooper. What was that's the Kenneth Walker run around?
Kenneth Walker was dead to rights for a 2-yard loss on the first play, and all of a sudden he skirts it and gets 10 yards and a first down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we're not going to be able to stop the run today. And guess what? Didn't stop the run. Couldn't stop Kenneth Walker. He's MVP. Much deserved, Rich. And you know what? He's a free agent.
Yes.
Cha-ching. The Seahawks should make Kenneth Walker the highest paid running back in the NFL.
All I know is, well, we're going to find out again where running backs are valued in this league.
He just won MVP in the Super Bowl.
I get it. I mean, you'd have to say the last player who balled out in the Super Bowl and win Super Bowl MVP just as it's time to hit free agency was that Flacco, right? Remember Flacco?
Oh, yeah. He put his bag on the table.
Remember Steve Bisciotti's like, listen, you want to be paid like an elite quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you go on a Super Bowl run for the ages and win Super Bowl MVP and then put the bag on the table, tell me to fill it up, and I will do so. And he did that.
He did.
So I don't know what the conversations are.
That's exactly what Ken Walker has done.
Well, that's what he just did. Yeah. I don't know if John Schneider or Jody Allen challenged Kenneth Walker to do what he did in the same way that I think Bisciotti, according to stories, the storybook goes, did that to Flacco and went, okay. That was my Baltimore accent, by that was my Baltimore accent. Okay. I'll fill that bag up for you, Joe. And he did. So by all metrics, I mean, his agent has every right to basically say, what more do you need to see
right,
other than what he's done?
He was awesome on Sunday.
And then most importantly, what he just did. What else do you need to see? But we'll find out, man. Again, how running backs are valued. I keep going back to this every year. Saquon, the Giants didn't value him. The Eagles did, to the tune of whatever he was wanting to be valued by. We saw a 2,000-yard season behind a line that was ready to do it and a team that was ready to do it. It all worked out. This year, not so much after he got more money. Mm-hmm. But still, Saquon is Saquon. The one that I point to this year was whatever the hell was going on between the Bills and James Cook, and they finally signed him. And where the hell would they have been without him? He wound up
probably
leading the league in rushing yards.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so is somebody who was also as a finalist for me for Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, the guy was incredible.
He was awesome.
So I don't know about the highest paid running back in the NFL, but
what do you always say? It's his turn.
Exactly. In the way that quarterbacks raise their hands and say, I need to be the newest 50-something million guy, and it's my turn to be paid that way. So that's what the system says for you to pay. But even those guys are being slotted less than Dak these days. So I'm saying, if I'm the Seahawks, I'd say, I hear you, but let's slot you here. How about more than what James Cook just got or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that would make sense if I'm Seattle.
I don't mean to hash
this whole thing out here.
No, I get it. But doesn't he walk in and say, hey, look, James Cook is this. This is the floor, man. Like,
I get it.
I just put a trophy in the case for you.
I understand. But you also don't want to run the risk of John Schneider saying, hey, man, we love you. We love you. But for this amount of money, Sam Darnold took less to come here, and
Sam Darnold had to take less.
I get it. So those who took those, to use a phrase from Michigan, those who take less become champions. Yeah. Here in Seattle, we love you, we value you. I mean, that's the way it should go. But he should definitely get some bag. He deserves it. He is unreal.
He does,
and I'm glad he's not running all over my aforementioned Michigan Wolverines anymore, like he did at Michigan State.
All right. Well, it's that time of the program when we got to talk about it, Rich. What was the whole deal with the combine and up to the draft? Talking about Will Campbell and the short arms. The arm length mafia was right. The Patriots regret taking Will Campbell 4th overall in the draft.
I don't think they regret taking a 4th overall in the draft this year.
Dude,
who would give me a name of somebody else that you think they could have had?
Literally
Tet McMillan,
anyone else.
I mean, I don't think
Tet McMillan probably would have been pretty nice.
But he was the best player on many people's offensive lineman boards.
Yeah, but the whole narrative about the short arms and these guys don't become starting left tackles in the NFL with a certain arm length. Look, I wasn't buying into it, but the more and more you saw this season play on, Drake May got sacked more than any quarterback in the playoffs just now. I don't know how many hits. You might have a number on it. He was getting his ass kicked,
no doubt,
all season long.
I know.
Throughout the playoffs, and you saw it on Sunday night.
I know, but rookies have that type of a season. And you live and die with it. And the fact that they made it to the Super Bowl anyway is remarkable. And I will just say, the short arm length mafia. I like that.
Yeah,
that's not a bad fantasy team name.
That's pretty good.
Arm length mafia.
Pretty good.
It's also did they open for Green Day yesterday?
Yeah, they did.
They opened for Green Day. I was there in the stadium, but I didn't see.
You didn't see it?
No. The conversation was a lot about, hey, he might kick inside, and he might.
Well, I think he's getting ready for a career at left guard.
And by the way, Joe Tooney just won Protector of the Year, didn't he?
I get it, but you don't spend the 4th overall pick in the draft on a guard.
I hear you. Or you can get a great draft choice. You can get some great production out of him at guard, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that you use a 4th round pick on him because you still make Super Bowls and you still win championships anyway. They just won the AFC Championship game, man. And I
but they don't hang a banner for that.
I know they don't hang a banner for that, but they don't hang banners for that for teams like the Chiefs and the Eagles and whatever, where they're expected to make the Super Bowl. This team wasn't expected. You arrived way earlier than anybody could ever have imagined.
I get it.
So regretting taking him, I disagree. I think Vrabel probably digs him and knows how to coach him and got the best he could out of him. And we also don't know, he got hurt and he came back. I have no idea if he was playing as a shadow of his former self. And they still felt it was the best opportunity for him to play a left tackle in a Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, the Seahawks defenders were equal opportunity abusers on everybody.
That's true.
But when you got, pardon me, a kid in his Huggies still, football wise, they absolutely steamrolled him, and it's a team game. There were a lot of reasons why, and Drake May apparently getting a painkiller shot in his shoulder, and his shoulder may not have been as healthy as they were all letting on. End of the day, Seattle was the better team, better roster. That's why I thought they were going to win by 2 touchdowns. And I just thought they were going to have a defensive MVP. I took my shot at DeMarcus Lawrence, who did have that moment where he knocked the ball loose from Drake May, or at least as he was following through.
Yeah.
They're just better. And they will not regret, choosing Will Campbell. So I know you're going to bring this up on the flagship show on Monday, so we'll hash it out a little bit more.
Yeah, it's just tough.
Why don't you finish up strong?
It was a tough year.
Finish up strong.
All right, finish up.
Hold on. Does anyone have a towel? Because there have been a lot of Patriot tears spilled here over the last 10 minutes of this program. Anybody going to? Because there's.
Well, we're gonna spill a little bit more.
Oh, come on, man.
Just a little bit more.
Good
just,
Lord.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Seattle won.
I get it. We talked about them for half the show.
Okay. What else? Finish up.
I mean, jeez.
That's all right, Mike. Del Tufo, of course, is bringing
Thanks, Mike.
The Bad Bunny of the Rich Eisen Show's got the.
So I've watched every snap of Drake May's career so far. Easily the worst game he's ever played. Super Bowl 60 proved that the voters got it right, Rich. You got it right.
Yes.
Give him the MVP to Matthew Stafford.
Bingo. Target. You hit the bullseye. Right there.
Way to make me feel better.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, you gave me the subject matter, and obviously I felt like I saw the best quarterback in the NFL.
But it's a regular season award. I mean, Richard Sherman out here being like, this is why you got to...
No. Excuse me. The Week 16 game where Sam Darnold had to twice outduel Matthew Stafford. Now, I won in the playoffs and won in the regular season. The first game is when he had 4 interceptions, part of the 20 turnovers that he had to lead the league in turnovers, and only to have 0 in the postseason, which is another reason why Seattle got better as the season moved.
True.
Because Darnold got better, and then in the playoffs was just spectacular.
Well, his
didn't make mistakes.
Yeah. The way he was elusive, he avoided so many sacks on Sunday.
He was terrific.
Yeah.
He was terrific, and he didn't make that mistake that Stroud and Stidham made in both of their playoff losses, which was to have a lead, have a defense balling out, having the Patriots on the ropes, wondering if their kid quarterback was going to move the ball in any meaningful way on the day, only to pull a pin on a grenade and flip it up into the middle of the Patriots defense and have it blow up in their own faces as New England either returned it for a touchdown or eventually got a touchdown off of a gimme turnover deep in the opposition end. That didn't happen. Sam Darnold was terrific, but this is about me being right. So let me return to that.
Wow.
Matthew Stafford had the best season in the NFL at the quarterback position, which is why the same voting group named him the first-team All-Pro quarterback. There are some voters who named him clearly first-team All-Pro quarterback and then also named Drake May the MVP of the league, which I do not get.
Well, they did it the year before.
I understand it. I don't agree.
Allen.
But that's when voters hang their hats on this being a referendum on the word valuable, what your definition of the word is. And that's how these things can get a little bit squirrely on who votes for whom. I look at most valuable as who's the best at it. Okay? Who's the best at it? I'm not like, if this guy got hurt, would the team do just as well? The answer to that is, of course not. And you could say that about anybody who's a starting quarterback in the National Football League. That's why they're the starting quarterback most of the time. But I get a little bit too aside. All I'm saying is everybody look at Matthew Stafford's numbers against this defense in Week 16, and then I understand it's not a postseason award, correct, but then take a look at what he just did against this team in the NFC Championship game, and look at how the Patriots did against this defense in Super Bowl 60. It is apparent that one kid had a superb football season, certainly for a 23-year-old, in the same way Stafford had one, certainly for a 37 turning 38-year-old who apparently couldn't get out of bed before the season because his back was balky. So, against Seattle, if Seattle's the measuring stick, you're correct. The voters got it right. Matthew Stafford was the MVP of this season and is the MVP of this season. And don't blame me again because he got one more first-place vote than Drake May, and I voted for Stafford over May. There were 3 people who decided to not even take a look at the clear mandate for all MVP voters this year to have an up or down vote on Stafford versus May. It was clear and obvious. Certainly of all these voters who are in the sports media, who are in the arena like we are every day, taking phone calls or answering posts and tweets of people who are talking with you and communicating with fans, it was obvious there was a choice of 2 people for this year's MVP. And it was clear fans wanted to know who was the MVP of the league between these two people, and three people tapped out of that responsibility for whatever reason, because they decided to have a concept of what the word value means that might be different than others. I get it. Thank you for this final topic, because it is me being right at the end of the day. This is a spot-on bullseye reaction.
Yeah, how much do you think the Rams are kicking themselves? They probably could have been Super Bowl champs if they beat
Well,
Seattle,
I mean, another topic, just to wrap this up, is the NFC Championship game was, in fact, the Super Bowl.
Which we said, 2 weeks ago.
It was, in fact, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to think the Rams would have done something similar. The Seattle defense is better than the Rams defense.
Oh, for sure.
I think we can say that.
Yeah, for sure.
But you can also say the Rams offense is pretty damn high octane, and 100% I think would have had a better day, certainly in that first half.
Yeah.
I mean, Stafford has already won a Super Bowl. This was Darnold's first go at it. And man, oh man. He had Jackson Smith-Njigba wide open.
Did a great job.
That would have been a walk-in touchdown.
Well, avoided the pressure, stepped up, and then JSN somehow snuck behind. You're like, oh my God, he's so open.
But at the end of the day, whatever Sam Darnold was getting through to settle down, he didn't make the mistakes.
Yeah,
he did not.
What was the vibe in the stadium like during the first half when it was
all
6-0 for most of the time?
It was a pro Seattle crowd. The 12s were everywhere. Yeah. It really was, and they were louder.
Was it 70%?
I don't know. I mean, all I know is just walking around.
Yeah,
they were louder and they were greater in number. Yeah, to say the least.
You could feel that on Friday when we were getting ready to leave.
No doubt about it. But I think Will Campbell turned out to be one of those shrubs in the Bad Bunny.
I think the shrubs could have done a better job of stopping the Seattle front line.
Hey, listen, great season. Overreaction Monday. We're going to still do this thing. We're going to turn into an every other week cadence. We're also going to, pop up, even if it is maybe not an every other week, for combine and for draft and for free agency and for the schedule. And we're going to be around, that's for sure. And then we're going to keep doing this show as well when it being on ESPN2. And if they say do it every week, guess what we're going to do?
We're going to do it every week.
Why not? So whatever I just said, don't listen to me.
I can't wait to watch the game tonight, man. I'm really looking forward to the Super Bowl.
No, not happen. You lost.
Gosh.
For Chris, I'm Rich. Thanks for taking an Overreaction Monday right here on the Rich Eisen Podcast Network, courtesy of ESPN Podcasts. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.